let's talk about the future for this Lexus. So my vision for this car is to make a car that I think should have come from the factory. This means it should have come with the 1G GT engine. What do we mean by that? So this engine in the past Toyotas in like 80s had a 1G GT engine, which is pretty much this engine but with an older style head. Now those engines had twin CT12A turbochargers on the exhaust side. Now what I've got are these CT12A turbos, the exact same turbos that came with the 1G GT engine, except these particular turbos are for 1GZ GT engine. And what I'm going to try to do is to add these turbos to this car. I've started to prepare a long time ago. Got these flanges cut for the head for the 1G FE engine. Then after I bought these turbos, made some measurements and got these flanges cut. So these are for the turbos I should say, for both of them. I've also got the exhaust side cut. Now what I'm lacking is the middle part that goes between this and the turbos. So the holes don't align perfectly. If you try to center them both, you cannot. It's offset a little bit. So that's why I'm thinking of making a log style manifold. One elbow, another elbow. Got this 3D printed part that is good for mock-up, and then a straight pipe connecting them too, and then a flange would be welded on these. I think that is the easiest way, and yeah, because otherwise I'll be wasting a lot of pipe trying to make the perfect cut. And the stock 1GZ manifolds, well, they're kind of a log style, and I think this will suffice. It's not going to be a, fully sport engine. I will not be pushing the limits of this type of manifold, and hopefully the spool will be good. Now some of the problems I'll be facing with trying to add those turbos is that these hoses are kind of in a way. Well, this bracket is kind of in a way, but it will go away. Now one of the bigger problems is that this wiring is also in the way, so reroute them a bit, which I think it's possible. Another problem was that this coolant housing from the water pump is kind of also in a way, but maybe a little bit of twisting or offsetting might help. We'll have to see about that. And last thing was that this hose was also kind of in a way, but I think since it's just a rubber hose, low pressure side, we can make something work with maybe a different type of hose. As for the engine management, I've bought and soldered my own Speeduino standalone ECU. I'm currently thinking about using it, though I'm not sure, but I would sure love to try it. The reason being, it's the cheapest standalone ECU you can buy, pretty much, and I'm curious on the capabilities of it, and just reading about them you can't get a good understanding about them, so I'm keen on trying it myself. Though since it's an open source project, it has its, of course, downsides, but I think I can work through them. For the fuel system, this car previously already had 1ZZ FE fuel injectors, so I'll be putting those back in. I'll be adding the pressure regulator and of course modifying the fuel system to be returnless instead of just with a damper. It will be pretty much this exact same as we did on the green IS200. This car has already upgraded coils to Yaris ones, so I don't think there will be any problems with ignition. As for the intercooler, this bumper has been already cut and it is ready for an intercooler. Most likely I'll buy the exact same intercooler as we got in the green IS200, but I will use aluminium piping for my car just because I think it's more cool and it will be lighter. And also I really haven't welded aluminum in a while, so this will be a good opportunity to remember how to do that. As for the exhaust, since when I made the drawings for this flange, I made it 3-inch instead of I think 2.5 inches the stock has. As you can see, there is a lip, so the actual exhaust 3-inch line is pretty much here, and the old exhaust was here. And previously you would have to have in a step through to 3-inch. So I'll be making the whole exhaust system in 3-inch, probably adding a muffler and a resonator, and all of the exhaust will be in stainless. In the previous video I've already shown that the oil return from the turbo was on the sump side was already made, and I will need to make only the new flange that bolts up to the sump and somehow connect it to the turbos. I will be printing a new pod for the gauges from ABS again for this car, because it seemed to work pretty good for Eustace, and even in the summer heat the plastic did not warp and survived completely unscathed. I will need to add lambda gauge, probably boost gauge, and an oil pressure gauge. In the future I would love to replace this semi-mechanical throttle body, but I think for the time being I will leave it as is, as well as the manifold, and let the stock ECU control the throttle body, whereas the standalone, whether it be Speedy Uno or something else, would control the engine. And then finally, at some point I would really love to make a dual plenum intake manifold for this engine, and that would be the pretty much the final thing I would like to do on this car, and after that just drive it and enjoy it. And so I think that's pretty much it. Those are the plans for this Lexus. Hopefully soon I'll start fabricating things and putting the turbos in place and follow up with some interesting content.